That's what is happening across the country, especially to do with the campaigns. So we'll go back to our top story this morning. And of course, it has everything to do with the nurses' strike. Yesterday, it entered its third week, and you saw hundreds of striking nurses taking to the streets to demonstrate against that failure by the government to consider their controversial collective bargaining agreement. Now, yesterday, they were led by the Kenya National Union of Nurses officials, and the nurses insisted that the strike was legal and there was no turning back until the collective bargaining agreement was signed. The nurses have withdrawn services to push for the signing and implementation of their CBA by the Council of Governors and the SRC. The strike has paralyzed operations in major public hospitals, even as efforts are put in place to end the strike. The Kenya National Union of Nurses are today expected to meet with representatives from the national government to look for ways of ending the strike. All right, before we get to that conversation, I'd like to bring in my colleague Elvis Kosgei, joining us from Eldoret, to paint for us a picture of the effect that the strike has had on residents there. Thank you very much, Elvis, for joining us. So talk to us about the impact of the strike. It has been felt nationally, but what can you tell us particularly about the region where you are?
Thank you very much, Betty. And here at Moi Teaching and Referral Hospital, more than 800 nurses have down their tools. And according to the official who have managed to speak to, they're saying that they are warning the Kenya KMTC for deploying students to act on their behalf. According to the officials here, they're saying it's illegal for students to act on their behalf. And here at MTRH, Mr. Kennedy, more than 800 students, more than 800 nurses have done their tools at MTRH. And recently, you are complaining that students from Moi University and other public institutions are here to offer service on your behalf.
Okay, yeah, my name is Kennedy Maturo Rangi. I'm the chairman of the Kenya National Union of Nurses MTRH branch. Actually, as it's in the public domain, over 800 nurses are on strike. And since first, this is their 20th day, because of their collective bargaining agreement, which was signed on 3rd of February 2015. So far, we had been waiting for SRC report, which actually is on the public domain. But so far, the SRC report has a lot of errors. So to come back to your question about students working in this institution, over 800 nurses indeed, they are on strike. And we had been warning the institutions, the MTC, Kenya Medical Training College, and also the MTC of the Moi Teaching and Referral Hospital, that students are not supposed to work without supervision of qualified nurses. Because these qualified nurses are on the streets, they are on strike because of their collective bargaining agreement, which has never been registered in court since 2015. So far, SRC, it has been saying that it's doing job evaluation exercise. Indeed, the exercise they did is a sham. It's actually very shameful to such a commission to do an exercise which has a lot of errors. Because, for example, if you look at that job evaluation report, it has a lot of errors whereby a nurse who's in M10 has been taken to M13. So we wonder whether they were doing this exercise to demote or to reduce salaries of nurses, or they were doing this exercise to improve the nurses who are working in this institution through maintaining them and motivating them. Because you understand, most nurses are moving out of this country, especially in MTRH. They lose a lot of nurses to look for green pastures outside this country. But if such exercise is being done by a commission, this shows that nurses will be now an exodus. We have a lot of exodus of nurses from this country. So we are telling SRC that we need a correct report which should be in line with the MTRH salary structure. Their report, indeed, it's very shameful for them because they need even to be surcharged. You cannot work for 2 years only to come up with a report which is really with a lot of errors, which is like demoting an institution which has been a referral institution, and then you are putting an institution to look like it's a dispensary, which is really very wrong.
Mr. Rangi, according to the John B., the national chair of Canaan, according to him, the strike is illegal and unprotected. What do you have to say about this?
Okay, our strike, as far as we are concerned in MTRH, our strike is legally binding. The strike is illegal. John B., as you understand, was expelled from the union. This is a person who is being used by other parties to derail the nurses who are on strike from achieving what they want to achieve. So John B. should join hands with the nurses so that it should not be used to derail this process of nurses want to get their CBA. The national nurses who are on the strike, especially in counties, they want their CBA to be signed. But in MTRH, our CBA has already been signed. It's only to be registered in court. The only delaying factor is SRC job evaluation report, whereby it should come up with this structure to be mapped with the structures of MTRH so that it can be entrenched in the CBA, then to be taken to court for registration with their letter of no objection. And actually, we have made a lot of progress with the administration here. The only people who are delaying this process is SRC. Because the administration here, they have been communicating because they say the union is not supposed to negotiate with SRC. The administration, they are supposed to communicate with SRC, whereby they have received a lot of correspondence, but their correspondence, they have not given out a job evaluation report which is clear, without errors, and our administration made appeal to correct those errors. So we don't know the intention of SRC as to why they made a lot of errors to the report of MTRH. Because that's like a demotion, actually. You cannot demote an institution which is on the sky, you bring it on just on the ground, like that.
Okay. Let's also bring in the Secretary General here at MTRH.
Okay, my name is Osoro. I'm the branch secretary for MTRH. Indeed, the way my chairman has said, SRC has been a disgrace to this institution. And I think it was a mistake to have such a commission in our constitution, because we have a competent commission that has the experience and the knowledge to conduct an exercise like job evaluation. That's the Public Service Commission. Of course, we are aware that the Public Service Commission is not even working in tandem with that SRC Commission, which is working out of its legal mandate of just advising on public service remuneration. So what we are saying to SRC, please, can you stick to your mandate of advising? Because you failed to set salaries for state officers, then you've resorted to frustrate public servants.